dour. All right, so talk to him, Tony.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I see you have a possibly...
All right, louder, louder. You got to go a lot louder than that.
Okay.
Project, come from here.
Okay.
Sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Sing from your diaphragm.
Excuse me, sir. I see you have a quite interesting rifle or machine. What is that?
Well, actually, what this is, son, is this is the original assault rifle. It is the very first one ever built on the planet. This one in particular is marked STG-44, which is Sturmgewehr 44. Assault, it literally translates to assault rifle of 1944. This particular one was built in 1945. It's an original German weapon. Nothing's ever been done to it. It's legally owned under a federal firearms license. It fires single and fully automatic. It was innovative for its time because it originally came out in 1942, and it was the first time that an intermediate rifle cartridge, taking a regular rifle cartridge and shrinking it down so a soldier could carry more ammo, was the first time that concept was ever thought of and implemented. And the weapon was originally called the MKB-42, machine carbine of 1942. Slightly different design. And Hitler found out about it and he said, wait a minute, no, we need machine pistols and belt-fed machine guns. We don't need machine carbines. They're too complicated for an infantryman. I know, I was one. So to hide the production of it from him, they changed the name to the MP43, machine pistol, so it sort of disappeared off his radar. They continued evolution of the design. The change from MP43 to MP44, literally the only difference is the muzzle nut.
Oh, so really, for like 1942, 43?
No, the 42 and the 43 are vastly different, but the 43, 44 is literally just a name change. Only way to tell them apart is the gap in the middle of the muzzle nut right here is a little wider. Okay. It's really odd. Then in 1944, they standardized the design. All the other prototypes developments were dropped, and they stuck with this one, which was originally the handle design, and it was produced up until the end of 1944 as the MP44, which is what most people know it as. Then Hitler was renaming everything to give it big scary names, the Wunderwaffen, and he renamed this the Sturmgewehr, the assault rifle. It's a rifle just for assaulting people or assaulting positions. And it was like, ooh, what's an assault rifle? And they would have to think about what it was, even though it was the same rifle they'd already been facing in combat. And this one is actually marked STG-44.
So like during the Battle of the Bulge, they've known it as a Sturmgewehr at that point, or only after?
No, well, by the Battle of the Bulge, it still was being called the MP44, the machine pistol 44. This one was 45 dated, and as near as we can tell by the serial number, was probably made in the last like 60 days of the war.
Wow.
It's the production figures and all that are sort of lost to history. But this gun was innovative for how it was built because it was the first rifle that used plain steel stampings as major components of its construction. You see the MG42 up here on the armored car, it was the first machine gun that used steel stampings as the predominant structures.
And the first propane-driven machine gun too.
That one's propane-driven, but on a real one.
Well, is this interesting to point out too? Because you know how like on the G43 they have like the cast iron parts?
Right.
Like how many cast iron pieces are on this?
Forged.
Forged as opposed.
You have the bolt, the bolt body. You have the operating rod and gas piston, the gas block, the sight base. There's a couple small pieces inside that are investment castings, and then in the receiver, right where you see this line come up and across, there's a thing called a trunnion block that is machined out of solid steel. Other than those pieces, all the rest of this is predominantly steel stampings that require they're super easy to make, and what they would do, rather than having to build the gun in one big factory, is they could take this piece to a tinsmith and say, I need 1,000 of these. And little Hans the tinsmith would sit down and make 1,000 of these. And it doesn't have to be made, it doesn't have to or anything, it literally